see how this goes. I'm starting a new web series. Every Monday I'm going to respond to a question about editing. So if you want me to respond to your questions about editing, just leave them in the description of this video and I'll respond to your question the following Monday. Help me keep the conversation going. As a reminder, if you guys want more like editing help and advice or whatever, I have a Ko-fi page which I'm trying to promote. Get some side money coming. By becoming a member, you get access to a members only section in my Discord, and you can talk to me more in real time over there about your questions about editing. I can help you out faster than I can here. I'm only answering questions every Monday here on my YouTube. That being said, last Monday I posted this video, to get the ball going, and thankfully somebody asked a question here. This is La09895. Can do some color grading on Premiere Pro. Some of its favorite content creators have a very unique style, and I'm pretty sure it has to do with color grade on their videos, and they want to see how I do it. All right, cool. Thanks for the question, and here's my response. Now, off the top of my head, I picked 4 random YouTubers I can think of, right? One is Jay's 2 cents, the way how he does his overall color grading. Pay attention to like the background. See like how it's blue here, and he's kind of evenly lit. Okay, that's important to remember. The next one is Harvard's Canucks. Their stuff is always pretty crisp. You can see how like the environment is kind of lit. He's lit evenly. How about let's see, Optimum Tech. He does some really good stuff. Evenly lit, nice solid background, out of focus. He has like a light that's like, I don't know, just to add some interest in the background. And of course, Linus Tech. You can see the background. You got some reds or whatever. He's evenly lit and all the good stuff. They always add vegetation, plants, greens, trying to get more colors involved into like the video as much as possible, all the good stuff. And of course, I'm Paul, because I work with him, so gotta promote his shit. Same thing, see the background, you got some blue here, you got the wall here is kind of like painted with color, and some random shit over here on the side. See, there's a lot of color in the background, see that? So yeah, that's basically what I want to show you. Now if you look at my crap, I got this light here on purpose behind my head just to like make it look like I have a halo or something like that. Over here on the sides, there's actually like some LED lights that I have set up. Like, hold on, look. See that shit? I don't know if you can see that. Just yellow lights. Also, I got this shit. I connect this guy to the USB in the back of like this monitor so you can get some USB power. So I have that, pointing towards me, right? It's very simple, man. I got an overhead like a China ball light. So to answer your question, or to answer the question, simply put, you have to paint your environment with light or create an environment that's full of life, because it doesn't really matter how much color grade you do to your footage. It's not gonna look good if you don't really have much going on. So if you could go busy, say with Linus, you have like plants, fucking cabinets, products, whatever. For all I know, this is fake. There's no background. You can open this window, you probably see just more lights. There's nothing really back there, right? Because he's in the studio, possibly, I don't know. Or you could do say like Optimum Tech here, he's just in a more sealed off location, everything's more solid, whatever, he has more control of the environment. Or Jay's 2 cents, his stuff is very evenly lit, he has like a lot of overhead light going on and stuff like that, so it all looks even. And yeah, that's the thing. You basically want to make sure you get good lighting to begin with. You kind of have to see it the same way as like audio. If my audio was distorted, no matter how much EQ I do to this fucking audio, if you don't have good audio to begin with, you're not gonna have good audio in the end. Same thing with your footage. If your footage looks like trash, it doesn't matter how much you can fucking EQ it. You can probably make it look better, but it's a lot better for you to begin with to get some good lighting. But to answer your question about how I do some color grading, so I'm just gonna show you really. I really don't do much, honestly. If anything, I try to aim to do as little as possible. For the most part, I like to use lumetri scopes to give me a visual idea of what's going on here. And also I use the lumetri color tab. So what I do is like I select the clip and put it in my main like a playback window. I select the source option here, and what this is gonna do is, instead of me like adding color correction to the clip by itself here that's selected, by editing the source video is gonna color correct the entire clip as a whole, right? So in other words, if I also like let's say if I was just to like mess with the color, right, at the source, and I get like this nasty color, the whole clip looks bad, right? So if I was to like edit out a little section from like this main clip and drop it in here, do like in and that point and drop it in here, Yeah, this clip that just dropped in here has the same color correction, right? Let me redo that. Because if I select this clip individually, and if I do the same thing with what it just did, this clip that's selected has a color correction. If I go to the next clip, see that? It doesn't have it. So yeah, that's something I do just to save time, is that I select the clip on my timeline and I make sure I hit click source, and then I do my color correcting. That way everything gets color corrected evenly instead of me doing each individual section of the edited clips, right? Select source. I always hit auto and let it, just to get a head start. It gives you like a good head start of what you want to do, you know, and then like from here I just kind of mess around a little bit, right? So basically what I'm trying to look for is like, see like at the monitor here, we have like this image of Paul's thumb screw. For the most part, that's what this thing is over here. You can see here there's too much red. So what I try to do is I try to like mix the colors, the temperature, until like these colors overlap and create a solid white. That's kind of like what I do to begin with. Do that. Then from here I could just adjust the contrast, or increase, reduce the highlight, or whatever. Now I'm doing it for tutorial reasons. I'm doing this on my 1080p monitor, but I do have a 4K monitor that's more color accurate. So I do my color correcting there, but you know, for tutorial reasons, I'm just doing it here. And like, yeah, like I said, I just adjust what I need, right? For the most part, I try to keep an eye here. Try to make sure the whites are solid white, and then like I keep an eye on his overall, you know, facial features and make sure Paul is more even. Honestly, color correcting I don't take too much time on. One, because I mean I'm not too picky about it, to be honest, right? But I do try to make sure everything's like even and lit. You know, I try to like make sure like everything's like not too overly exposed. Shadows, I want to make sure there's enough contrast. Like that way, like the light pops up, so does the colors, you know. And then like you know, once everything's cool, I go to like the creative section here on the lumetri area, and all I do is like just increase the vibrance to usually 20, and then I sharpen and just go up to like 10, and that's basically it. I keep it very simple. But yeah, that's the thing. Again, you want to make sure you're filming good footage to begin with. You know, white balance. Make sure nothing's overexposed. You know, you take your time to make sure everything looks good to begin with, and then like, you know, in post you do a little bit of you know, touch-ups, right? So I don't do much. You could do more. I could, you know, if you wanted to. I just don't do that personally. Just like, you know, we're such on a time crunch that for me to like adjust every section of the clip to make it look right, I just don't have the time to do that, especially for the fast turnaround that's expected from me, you know, to edit. So as a YouTuber, content creator, editor, focus more on creating a good environment for yourself to film. You know, get all the lights and set up the way however you want. And then like, you know, you just basically do a little bit of touch up in post. And that's the way how we work and how I suggest for you to work if you want to make some content. Very simple. Anyways, that's all I got. Thanks again for your question. And again, leave me another question for editing for next Monday, and just help me keep the conversation going, right? First come, first serve. Whichever question is in the top comment of the videos, I'll answer that one, right? So yeah, please help me out to make more content. See you next Monday.